Perfect. And we're live on World of Pets podcast. We are streaming out of Arizona and Colorado Springs. We are here to uplift everybody, by the way. We support nonprofit organizations, veteran organizations, animal shelters, veterinarians, and we just love to tell stories about our pets. So tonight we are going to do some very what I think to be important. A couple weeks ago, we were talking about, we had a lawyer on that was talking about end of life, what you want to do if you have a service animal or just a pet that you want taken care of after you pass away. Tonight, we're going to talk about what we did when our animals passed away. And we are not joking when we say the animals are a piece of our life and our well-being. So without further ado, Emily Gomer is our engineer, and she hosts the World of Ability podcast on YouTube. Please go like, subscribe, go see what she's up to. And we are sponsored tonight by debspets.com. That's DEBSPETS.com, where we believe that not only pet but also human wellness can collide with the same nutrition through mushrooms and many, many other things. So, without further ado, my co-host Anthony, that suddenly looks like he has a dog in his lap, which is just gorgeous. I'm so
You won't
jealous.
get down. I tried. Now she's giving,
Beautiful.
are you
She's
giving me kisses?
beautiful.
You're going to give kisses? No? Okay.
Num-a-noms. Num-a-noms. All right, so tonight I'm gonna give you just a little breakdown. I've had 3 dachshunds in my life, 4 actually. The first one was Daisy, and my wife brought her home when she was on the road for truck driving, and she came home after a year, and she brought this little puppy dog, and named Daisy, and she was super tiny, still a puppy, and I fell in love instantly because I was never allowed to have a pet growing up, and wow, that was loud. And then I was like, I have to get one of my own. If you got one, I got to have one. So we went out to the same breeder, and I got a long haired, and his name was Duke, because Daisy Duke clearly is a Dukes of Hazzard reference. And but then when Daisy ran away, when my wife went to Indiana, and um, we found another one when she got back at a family that was was struggling with the vet bills, and we adopted Bellaboo. So we had Dookie Doo and Bellaboo at the time, and then I thought it would be a great idea. Hey, let's just make these puppies have more puppies. Well, Duke and Bella only had one puppy, and he was born blind in one eye and couldn't see out of the other, and his name was Payton Poo. And lived 16 years up until last November, I think. But let's talk about the correlation between a dog's life and a human's life, right? When you're raising a dog, you're trying to make that dog to be as much like you most of the time, and or a cat. I mean, if your cat hides under the couch, you might hide under the bed. That could be a thing. So, but I Peyton was great because of his lack of vision. Um, he was totally scent and audio, and it was just a pleasure to have to learn how to train him through the years. We taught him how to play bag ball, which was just a bag on the back of the front door. So sitting from the couch, we could throw the ball. He would go get the ball, and we would get points, and then he'd bring the ball back and set it down at our face and rinse and repeat. So much fun, right? I mean, and so I gave him the best life possible that he could have, but he's so much like his dad. He picked a fight with a big dog, and he lost, and so I had to let him go. But with that, Emily, if you can pull up a few pictures of Payton, the little white puppy, and I'll give you a backstory while we're going through this. So he was like paralyzed 4 times, hit by a car. One time I had to actually get a wheelchair for him, but he was growing back and he was doing fine.
David, I have a
Um,
question.
yeah.
And it's going to sound like I'm being a smartass, but I'm not trying to be. It's a serious question.
Hmm.
How do you get paralyzed more than once? Because paralyzed means you can't move.
Well,
That's
rehab. And he was floppy. I mean, his legs. I literally had to rehab him and carry him outside, hold up his back end, let him go potty, and start the process of him moving his back legs and getting used to putting pressure on him and all that. So it's a time of burden, clearly, for the person that's raising the pet and taking care of the pet. And it got to a point where I just didn't want to leave him alone. And he didn't like to be left alone. He wanted his dad all the time. And so I got to a point where I was able to take him to work, and that was awesome. But I had to take the breaks often enough so that he could go outside and I can hold him up and do a little bit of therapy and a little bit of rehab. But he was very well trained despite all of that. So it wasn't really a problem with him. Like, he didn't really pee in his bed. Oh, that's my buddy. Isn't he so cute? Oh, my dog. Oh, my dog. See, there's his wheelchair. I would take him when I first put him in a wheelchair. I think it was his last paralyzation. Um, Dude, he loved it. And he would never fight me putting him in it. He was like, "Yay, I get to walk on my own." And he'd use his front little paws. But the way I had it set up is because it wasn't quite long enough. I couldn't find one designed specifically for a dachshund. And so I bought one that was for a small dog. And the way that I did it, I moved back the front supports so that it would lift him up on the front so that he could use his front paws but still support his back. And he could still touch the ground with his back paws. And he constantly was trying and trying. Oh, there's Dookie, the one with the 248. That's Peyton's dad, by the way.
I'm going to be like Wilson from Tool Time this whole show, and you won't be able to see my mouth.
And Bellaboo. You could do Bellaboo and Peyton Poo right there, one screen.
Yep.
Wilford Brimley, you got diabetes. But yeah, Peyton loved playing fetch. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Uh, we'd go to the woods, and my buddy would have us up on the weekends sometime. And he lived literally on a slope. His cabin was at the top of the slope. And Peyton would get a scent. I'd get a scent on the ball, and then I'd just throw it down the path. And it was anybody, any grown human being would lose breath going from the parking lot up to the cabin. And Peyton would run down after that ball, and he wouldn't come back until he found that ball. It was so cool just to watch him, despite his disabilities and blindness. Even towards the end, he got deaf, but both him and Duke, I had him. I know, I had him trained so that I could just do a quick, and they'd come back, and they didn't have to be. They'd come within 100 yards, and they'd still hear that minor little whistle, and they'd come running back right to Dad. So it was a great experience, man. I really miss the little buddy because he used to open my prayer time channel on Facebook, and every episode that I did for 2.5 years daily, he'd be singing his little lungs out, and Facebook decided to delete 2.5 years of Peyton's work and my work, and so I'm starting another program coming soon to a rumble near you. So tell me about your baby there.
Well, this is my dog. Apparently, she doesn't want to leave today, so she's going to join us. Oh, she's giving me a hug. So she's going to join us on the show. See, there she is, giving me a hug.
Very good.
So, all episode, I'm going to be like Wilson from Home Improvement, and you're not going to be able to see my face. So she is going to be 3 years old in November. She's a border beagle. This is my dog Cobb. I've talked a lot about on the show. Oh, thank you for kisses. Yeah, I know. Oh, that'd be. As you can see, she's a very emotionally attached dog.
Couldn't tell.
And so, she loves her dad, and she gives hugs, and she wants to stay here. So over the weekend, unfortunately on Sunday, we had to put my daughter's cat down. My daughter's 2-year-old calico cat.
Oh, man.
It came on suddenly. It had some kind of like a blockage or a urinary tract infection or something along those lines. And the cat just could not use the litter box, and it just could not beat the blockage, and it was in a ton of pain. And so we had to make a decision on Sunday night that, we couldn't afford the thousands of dollars for surgeries and x-rays to decide where the blockages were, if there was a blockage. And so the cat was just in too much pain, and we ended up having to put him down on Sunday night. But we go Thursday, hopefully, to get a new cat on Thursday for my daughter.
Oh, good.
Well, the current issue is that this one right here, the dog, this one, and the cat were BFFs. So she kind of misses the cat. I think that's a little bit why. She's a emotional dog anyway. She likes to cuddle and get hugs and give hugs. But I think that's a little bit of the reason why she's so attached tonight.
Sure.
Because her best friend is gone, and she doesn't know what happened to her best friend.
Yeah. Well, she probably had a little bit of an idea and maybe didn't get to say her last goodbyes. But, that's
She did go upstairs at one point and lay down next to the cat and kind of cuddle up with her.
right.
Huh. Did you cuddle Toby? Huh? Did you say goodbye to Toby? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. Oh,
baby.
Is your best friend gone? Yeah. Oh, come here. It's Daddy loves you.
I miss that so much. One day, I will have another puppy dog. Just because they're so awesome.
Yeah.
At this point in my life, at my age, ripe old age of 50, I'm probably going to be able to qualify for a service dog as well. So I'm going to look into that process. What's your experience with, I know that your baby there was being in training for a service dog. What kind of process do you need to go through to actually get a fully qualified service dog?
So it's interesting that you bring that up, because one of the meetings I had this morning was to meet with a group of people that are trying to bring a program to Arizona. Supposedly it's already here in one of our counties, but we're trying to bring it down here to southern Arizona, similar to what Cobb was enrolled in. And basically what that does is it allows the county and state prisons to train these dogs to be service animals. And so in Maricopa County, which is our most populated county, from what my understanding is they've already got somebody there that's trying to kickstart the program. So we are in the talks and the process of having necessary meetings to try to get that as well in Pima County. If you can't get a dog, so I used a program for veterans that trained her basically at no cost. I mean, the cost was negligible. I had to pay for some food and storage, things like that for her while she was in the jail. But other than that, the cost was negligible. 90%, 85 to 90% of insurance companies will not cover the cost of a service animal. And they can cost anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000, depending on what you need, the size of the dog, how much training is required based upon the needs. So if your insurance does not approve it, then it's an out-of-pocket expense. So what I'm trying to do is initiate a program where not just for veterans, but for disabled children as well that are already on our state access insurance, the
Right.
dogs get trained and provided to them at no cost.
Yeah, that's amazing. That would be huge, because I can definitely attest to the need for companionship, having been single for the last 11 years. And when Peyton, just like his dad, picked a tough way out, which I haven't picked my tough way out yet, but
I don't like talking to ghosts.
but I think it's so important to have that relationship, that comfort, that unbiased love is what I like to refer to it as. Is it doesn't care. The dogs don't care. Cats don't care. And cats are a little different than dogs, but I mean, clearly they're a different kind of species of animals. So, personal favorite, dogs. I'm trying to train a raccoon that comes around here every now and again, but he's not having anything to do with me. So, we'll see how that goes.
Deb was wanting to have me tell our audience here in Southern Arizona to call their state legislator about that program for service animals. That's not
Mhm.
quite at the state level yet. One of the other meetings I had was me throwing my hat in the arena for a possible run for the state legislator this coming year. So
Very good.
there are some things in the work. If I do get elected, ended up in the state legislation, of course, that's something I'm going to bring to the legislator to try to get approved, since there's just all kinds of benefits to it that I don't have time to get into right now because of the nature of this show. But it would be beneficial not just for our citizens, but also for our inmates to have
Yeah.
vocational skill and training that was provided to them. But they're also, it costs on average nationally, it costs anywhere from $65,000 to $100,000 to incarcerate an inmate just based upon their physical and medical needs. So based
Right.
upon that, it costs anywhere between $65,000 and $100,000 to incarcerate an inmate. Why can't we give them vocational training whilst in prison, contributing a little bit to the cost of incarcerating them, but also giving them a life skill for when they release?
Yeah. There's several countries that already do that. I think Switzerland is one of them. I mean, there's without going into super deep detail on that. But I think it's super important. And congratulations on getting the hat tip, by the way, to do that. And
I was basically voluntold. My state legislator said, you're running for something, whether it's on the county or state level. We just have to decide which. So I got voluntold today that I'm going to do something.
voluntold, like I said, the hat tip. It's like, guess what, buddy? You're on the ballot. So no, that's awesome, man. I can't wait to hear that story in more depth as it progresses. But yeah, we just the whole purpose of bringing pets into our lives and building relationships with them can help build relationships with other people as well too. And it gives us, for those of us that aren't very good at communicating with other people on the regular, or we're a little bit digressed into our own little world, that can give us a piece of comfort and love that we can escape to, that nobody else can experience, but you have that experience, especially with that doggone dog right there.
Well, it's amazing the impact that animals can have on your life. So my daughter's cat that had to be unfortunately put down this weekend, and I think if Emily was able to get some of those pictures, I sent her 3 or 4 pictures, or 2 or 3 pictures. I mean, she was able to get them. She can show those at any time. His name was Toby Bryant. And so that's not the cat, that's David's dog. But anyway,
Oh, that's Deb's dog. We'll talk about Deb's dog another day. There we
there
go.
he is. There's Toby.
Look
There's our Toby boy.
at that baby.
He was a great support for my daughter. I had to go live primarily in the Pacific Northwest for about a year. I did come back and spend some time in Tucson with my kids, as well as bring my kids up there. But whilst I was there, he was a great support for my daughter here in Tucson. So he was just a great animal. I'm not a big cat person myself, but they provide great support for those that love them and that care for them and do all of that. She took it rough, obviously, on Saturday and Sunday, watching him decline and watching him suffer. But she's at peace with it now, and she's doing okay emotionally. I asked her to come on the show tonight. She said she'd probably be too emotional to come on. But we are going to go Thursday to our local shelter and look at some more cats, as well as one of the meetings I had today. That individual put me in touch with another person. If there's nothing that we want at the shelter, I'll go to this other smaller kind of private shelter on the other side of town. So,
very good.
We'll take a look around and see if we can't find Toby Jr.
I can't wait to see the new baby. It's kind of nice that, to support the shelters. We're definitely a big supporter of shelters. We've interviewed a few on this channel. We've interviewed other nonprofits that are pet related, even horse related. I know you got some projects coming up that you're working on also. Man, you got so much on your plate right now. You're kind of blowing my mind, to be honest with you. With Project Die Hard out of Tennessee, trying to open a chapter down there with you guys, plus what Deb mentioned today. Do you want to talk about what she mentioned today in our chat earlier?
What did she mention?
I would say...
I don't want to say much because I had a lot of meetings. I'm going to start getting my wires crossed here.
Right. I think it was something down in Arizona that's already there for veterans, about 20.
Yeah, so we're not jumping in right now with both feet with Project Die Hard, not saying anything bad about them. We're just trying to look at all of our options and look at things a little more locally and try to figure out which fit is going to be best for us as far as dealing with local veterans. Right. As far as my personal nonprofits go, I'm still going to be working on that, but the work is going to slow down a lot depending on what happens with this upcoming election season. So that work will slow down and kind of be put on the back burner. It's not going to go away. It's not going to die. It'll just kind of be put on the back burner while I get some more priorities going in the state. But one of the priorities that was one of the meetings I had today was about getting that program initiated for dogs in our local shelter, because our local shelter is literally just overflowing with dogs. It cannot keep up with it. Yeah, and so if the dog is healthy enough and is young enough to go into the program to train to be a service animal, and we already have a decent percentage of kids on state access insurance that would probably qualify and need a service animal, as well as veterans that would qualify and need. I don't see why that can't be a program that helps everybody involved, the veteran, the inmate, the child in need, and the animal shelter. Yeah. So that's be something that I work on the front burner while my personal stuff gets put on the back burner. And so, there's a lot of ways to go about that. But the second meeting today, yes, was about, let's look at all of our options when it comes to these services for veterans, such as a veterans breakfast. And then as things get more solidified and we can say more about that publicly, we will.
That's awesome, dude. Man, you're involved in a lot. I got some other irons in the fire too. I'm just looking at growth to help the world, one person at a time, one pet at a time. And I'm super blessed to be working with you and Debbie and Emily. I can't thank you enough, Emily, for hosting this, because I tried to go live on Rumble today and failed miserably.
Oh, she finally got down. Oh, hi there.
But with, I guess just putting a thumbnail on this, we'll come back to all this later on, I think, with Debbie when she's ready to talk about it, when she gets her air conditioning fixed.
Poor Debbie. Poor Debbie.
I know, right?
It's just so hot all the time in Tucson.
Yep.
It's been said many times that it's so hot here that Satan has to flee back to hell to get some relief. So, it's just so hot. I could not imagine living without an air conditioner. I wouldn't do it. I'd go get a hotel or something. But yeah, it's just. What happened? My screen went away here. Oh, there you
Well,
are. Hi.
I'm pretty sure that the devil vacations in Colorado, and that's why we're the show that we are right now.
Well, I'm not so sure about that, but yeah, pets are a vital part of our life, and to um, have a pet pass, especially when that pet belongs to a child, is something that's difficult for the whole family.
Yeah.
And all of my children were affected by it, not just Olivia, my oldest, whose cat it primarily was, but the whole family, her sister and her brother were both upset about it. And that's just because of how great pets are, man. The emotional support they provide, the love, the companionship, as you said, that's the primary reason. In the beginning, I got my dog Cobb, who's named after my kids, each of my kids. But that's the primary reason I got her, was for companionship, and now she's just turned into much more than that. And as has been mentioned, become a part of the family, and that's what Toby was for Olivia. She constantly called him her son. And, she would have her boyfriend be like, this is your son-in-law, and all this other stuff. And but we're definitely going to go look at some cats on Thursday. That's my next day that I can dedicate to that. I've got too many things going on tomorrow. So Thursday, we're going to go up to the local shelters and take a look around and see what we can't find in the way of cats. But David, I'm excited. I hope sometime in the near future you get yourself another companion.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And it'll happen when the time's right. I promised myself that I wouldn't take it on too soon. I wanted to be a responsible owner and have the means to, take care of him. Uh, Payton was a very expensive puppy, even though he didn't cost any money to make. He cost me a lot of money over time. And but I think that's another thing that people don't really consider when they do take on an animal is there's going to be vet costs, potential injuries, end of life, all that stuff. You have to kind of factor into adopting a pet even, and but most people don't consider how expensive that can be these days.
Well,
You can get pet insurance and all that stuff. Which is great. I highly recommend it. But if you're just going to be paying cash out, like Peyton's last appointment was almost $2,000. So
woo!
yeah,
Mamacita. Yeah,
yeah,
um, that's a lot.
it is a lot. But that's why I said I want to be in a place where I can be responsible, have enough time
Yeah.
to be with them, and to give them the best life that they can have, not only to enhance my life, but just to make their life extremely awesome. I've focused on that. I've tried to give all my pets, awesome lives and have fun. That's it. Bless you.
Well, thank
I
you. Yeah, I don't sleep a whole lot. It starts to wear on me in days like this.
understand. Well, let's do this. Let's go through our sponsors. I know we're going to touch back on the subject again when Deb's ready to go.
Okay.
As far as the end of life with pets and stuff like that, go back and see our other podcast where we actually talked with a lawyer that talked about how to put a pet into your
Village trust.
will and trust and all that stuff. So, but Emily Gomer is our sponsor, and she has the podcast on YouTube, World of Ability podcast, and it's very important to put in podcast at the end of that, especially with this one because it's the World of Pets podcast, sponsored by debspets.com. That's DEBSPETS.com, and you can find everything you need to know about pet and human wellness on there, and we highly recommend the mushroom supplements.
Don't forget about the Great Discovery, which is a program that Deb is a part of. Debbie is a greatdiscovery.com/DNHayes. You can go over there and find out a lot of the things she's involved in when it comes to health and human wellness, as well as other networking opportunities. And so that's scrolling across the bottom of the ticker right now. So we wanted to throw that. I don't know why I have this comb. This is my son's comb I found on my desk.
Hey, wait, that's mine. Can I have that?
Now I'm playing with it. So we want to throw that out there. But as always, we want to say to everybody out there that you are loved, you are valued, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. God loves you and we love you. So if you need somebody to talk to, please talk to us, reach out. We want to do everything we can to help you and to let you know how valuable and loved that you are.
That's a fact. So with that, God bless you all. We love you all. We hope to see you next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Look for more projects coming. I can't believe you're going into politics, bro. Like, I'm kind of jealous.
I got told that's what we're doing. So
I'm kind of jealous. So if I can help, you let me know.
all right, sounds good.
All right, guys. We love you all. God bless. We'll see you next week.
See you next time.